Step through the neon-lit Torii Gate. Tokyo Otherscape is a setting book for the Otherscape role-playing game that provides the MC and players with everything they need to jump right into a game on the dangerous, haunted streets of the Tokyo Megacity. In this fictional dystopian Tokyo, rogue AIs, nanotech disasters, greedy zaibatsus, and Yakuza intertwine with oni, kami, yōkai, onmyōji, and other supernatural beings of Japanese legend. This is a review of Tokyo Otherscape. Let's dive in. Here we have Tokyo Otherscape, the Japan setting book for the Metro Otherscape series, powered by City of Mist, by the way, published in 2024 by Son of Oak Game Studios. Here we have the first setting for the Metro Otherscape line from Son of Oak. This is a setting book, so we're going to have a bunch of setting information, some new player options, and lots of new challenges. We do have 5 smaller jobs and 1 bigger job this time around. Great for when you need something quick to plug in and play and get a sense for the setting. Players get access to new tropes, new special, and new loadouts that really exemplify this new Tokyo setting. So what tropes do we have to play around with? Well, for assassins and spies, we have the ghostly kami burglar, the zaibatsu double agent, the tattooed Yakuza recruit. For cybernetic junkies, we have creator of cyberlife, fully immersed gamer, otaku harnessing console modder. For cutting-edge techies, we have the mecha pilot, solar power technician, and Tezuma illusionist. For everyday survivors, we have the fed-up salaryman, unwitting nanotech wielder, vengeful yōkai hunter. For hired guns, we have Oni motorcycle courier, wealthy violence tourist, wandering neo-samurai. For mystics and occultists, we have enlightened child, sailor suited summoner, and tamahagane swordsmith. For noir anti-heroes, we have the Unreal haunted bartender, onmyōji inspector, and the retired nanobutai trooper. For power players, we have kitsune power broker, clerk of the demon courts, and cyber onsen operator. For scavengers and outlanders, we have the Maedo Yamabushi, tower looter, and shrine-seeking monk. And for subculture exemplars, we have tainted yōkai worshipper, Hanko enthusiast, toge street racer, and then last but not least, the transhumans with awakened synth companion, digitized kami, and imperial clone. Unfortunately, we don't get any new theme books, but we do have new theme kits that fit within the ones found in Metro Otherscape. Make no mistake, the power and weakness tags, along with the specials, are very much thematic to the Tokyo setting. So we're going to have things like the Budo Practitioner, Bushi Aspirant, Claim Birthright, Cleanse the Past, Harmonious Leader, Kenjutsu, Nanite Veteran, Neo Samurai Armor, Otaku, Precious Youth, Yakuza Membership, and Yōkai Slayer for self-themes. For the Mythos themes, we have Figurine of Corruption, Hanko Seal Magic, Helpful Ghost, Karmic Decree, Kitsune Charm of Trickery, Legendary Weaponsmith, Oni Mask, onmyōji, Shikigami, Spirit Form, Tezuma Magic, and Zen-like Peace. And then for noise themes, we have the Anti-Nanite Gear, AR Gamer, Briefcase Weapon, Enhanced Clone, Eye-Catching Projections, Giant Combat Mecha, Holographic Companion, Kumo Pilot, Laser-Edged Katana, Sundog Suit, and Tamatabako Plugger. We also have new specials that players can pick up for their characters when they fill the upgrade track on one of their themes, excluding loadout and crew themes, that is. Each of these have a requirement that must be fulfilled before you can take them, but they are specific to Tokyo. So we're going to have things like cheap prosthetic. You've replaced a limb with a prosthetic that you can easily fix or replace. When mitigating consequences that you can prevent by sacrificing this prosthetic, like blocking a sword strike or stepping in molten metal, you may have the limb take this status instead, giving it damaged or a similar effect, which affects the use of your prosthetic until you repair it. We've got favored gadget, friends in the bureau, helpful kami, gamer fame. So you've become famous thanks to one of Tokyo's fastest growing sports, AR gaming. Once per session, you can choose someone in the scene that has a chance to recognize you and give them Starstruck 2 or Starstruck 1 to a scale 1 crowd, which might help you impress, intimidate, distract, or otherwise influence them. We have Grudge Against Yōkai, Nanotech Residue, Proper Rituals, Salaryman, Sworn Rival, Symbol of Power, Synthetic Liaison, Tsukumogami, a piece of equipment you own or found has become significant enough to awaken with its own kami or spirit. Choose a power tag representing an item. It becomes an autonomous mythic being capable of acting on its own. And you may converse with it and ask it questions about its field of expertise and about the world of kami and yōkai. Once per session, you may take action with this Tsukumogami tag as an interjection. And we also have Zen Against the Noise. And then there's the new crew theme specials: Mercenary Supplicants, Respected Buke, Pillars of the Community, and Shugo. We have a ton of new items in the Tokyo Street catalog. Remember, there are specific items within each category with tags recommended for them, but you will also have access to the general tags. So for access and perks, we have things like the Ghost Market Access Chit, the Mount Horai Game Pass, Oni Favor, onmyōji Favor, and Solo Timeshare Workshops. For ammo, we've had things like the 5 Rings Burrowing Bullets, Grim Pagoda Drone Jammers, Kyoto Arms Corrective Ammunition, Nakashima Explosive Arrowheads, and Nakashima Resonance Arrows. For apps, chips, and databases, we have Artisan Life Calligraphy, Bushin Shu Electronic Sensorium Recorder, Gordian Mythos Wiki Tamatabako, the Koji Security Tech C5 Puppet Master Spatial Awareness Chip, and the Kojima Security Tech X5 Network Feed HUD Facial Identification System. For armor, we have things like the Hot Zone Armored Suit, the Hayashi Group Mercury Adaptive Armor, the Kojima Security Tech N43 Mechanoid Battle Suit. For body attachments and cybernetics, we do have things like Amphibious Implant Suites, Ghost Drone Ishoku Nano Paint, the Hikage Pharmaceuticals Enchanting Ishoku Nano Paint, the Shimada Group BRT Prime Toolkit Hand, and a few more other nano paints. For cyberspace, we have the Bushin Shu Electronics Bracer Console Shinyu, the Chimpira Traffic Tracker Tamatabako, Ghost Silent Running Protocol, a Visionary VR console, and a Hijacking Freeware. For drones, we have the Concubine Anthroform Companion Bot because, yep, everybody needs a furry companion, the 5 Rings Defender Bodyguard Robot, the Goburin Street Labs Obaki 5 Vehicle Hijacker, Anthroform Decoy Droid, Hidden Droid Dock, Micro Drone Swarm, Anti-Drone Attack Drone, Sentry Drone, and a Medbot. For enhancers, we have the Dung Antitoxin Bloodstream Filters, the Pilot Reflex Enhancements, the Robotics Power, Livestream Eye Patches, and Pain-Numbing Chewables. For garments and fashion, we have AR Enhanced Clubwear, the Dung Articulated Ceiling Jacket, the Ishi Harada Cyberwear Shielding Peripheral, the Kimono Cover, and a Stealth Jacket. For Merc gear, we have things like the Astra 10 Adaptive Hunko Seal, the DNA Privacy Scrubber, the Command Visor, the Shever Direct Download Kunai, the Shorai J700 Directed Thrust Jetpack, and the Soma Medical Necrotic Tissue Rebuilder Pack. And can I point out that even though we have this cute picture of a mechanized Shibu Inu, there actually isn't one under Merc gear. That's kind of really sad face right there. For source touched items, we have the Ancient Saihai, the Anti-Aging Ningyo Flesh, the Azusa Yumi, which is a bow, Bullet Time Charm, and Daruma Doll. Vehicles, we have lots of them, like different motorcycles and armored bikes, personal rotorcrafts and personal watercrafts, and even some limited edition flying cars. And lots of weapons, like a rail pistol, Odachi blade, compact grenade launcher, EMP pistol, shoulder cannon, shock gauntlets, a tungsten alloy katana, resonance knife, sniper rifles, and electrified niginatas, and blackout shurikens and smoke kunai. So all sorts of things that really fit this setting, and it's awesome. So what exactly is Tokyo 20XX? Well, it's not Mega Man X, that's for sure, unless you want it to be. This is the megacity that has embraced its cyberpunk influence. But not only that, we can explore what happens when kami, gods, and monsters of Japanese legends exist alongside these corporate warlords, technology, and the Yakuza. The first chapter does a very good job at getting this point across. You'll get an explanation of everyday life in megacity Tokyo, how technology functions, how kami, akuma, dragons, oni, shikigami, yurei, all of that fit in. We also get an explanation of Japanese magic like Ofuda and Hanko. There are 12 districts in Tokyo 20XX, like the 5 Rings military zones, we have some assembly lines, the Hokkyokusei gated communities, the Hosuke Row, the Mount Horai Media Center, Old Tokyo, the Ryogen University campus, the Tenryujo Isles, the Kami Islands, the Maido, Yakushi Medical Corridor, and the Zaibatsu Block. We also have some set pieces that you can set any of your scenes in, like a bike parkade, canal waterway, the 24-hour corporate office, crowded train station, izakaya, koban, konbini, which is a grocery store like 7-Eleven, matsuri, noodle shop, pachinko parlor, ryokan, and shotengai. Although these don't have any mechanics tied to them, they are just fluff to help you get the ideas flowing, which is still beneficial for those of us who, don't live in Japan or in the future. Every megacity has its own power players, be they corporations, crime syndicates, cults, or trending social movements. Tokyo 20XX is no different. Each of the following factions will not only have detailed lore information, but also key locations, story hooks, challenges, and member perks in the form of power sets or loadout options. First, we have the Bureau of onmyōji, a corrupt, age-old government body tasked with maintaining the supernatural balance. For challenges, we have things like the Chief Inspector Ishikawa. We have your typical onmyōji inspector, or even shikigami or yōkai tracking drones. Joining the Bureau of onmyōji usually happens one of three ways. Some inspectors are recruited from the ranks of other government bureaus, identified for their attention to detail and ability to see past the noise. Others are brought in by their onmyōji parents, a practice that is officially discouraged to avoid creating dynasties, but still happens on occasion. The third option is perhaps the most common, which is people who just work alongside an onmyōji during an investigation and aren't offered the job. Then we have the Ghost Market, a marketplace for all things illegal, illicit, taboo, and stolen, run by a mysterious and deadly cabal of assassins. For challenges, we're going to have things like the Ghost Market Dealer, the Ghost Market Enforcer, the Seiryu, which is an Azure Dragon, the White Bird, and for membership bonuses, we're going to have things like the Ninjutsu Student Mythos Power Set, or the Ninjutsu Training or Ghost Market Vendor. There's even some more Ghost Market Shinobi catalog stuff like the Perfect Cover Kit, the Poison Coating, and the Smoke Pellets. Becoming a vendor at the Ghost Market takes time, trust, and reputation among the underworld as a wheeler and dealer worth engaging with. So very secretive, these guys. Then we have the Great King Enma's Court, a godlike rogue AI testing and judging the wicked for their own good. For challenges, we're going to have things like the Oni Tormentor and Court Functionary, the Shimio, and King Enma's Trail. For membership power sets, we have things like the Supplicant of King Enma. King Enma's court is always looking for new recruits with a genuine commitment to its absolute unyielding sense of justice. As Enma often reminds his people, skills can be learned much more readily than attitudes. Those willing to aid his crusade can, with proof of sincerity through action, earn his blessing, with the powers and responsibilities that entails. Court officials are expected to remain upright examples of justice and moral virtue. Then we have Neo-Samurais, a growing movement of warrior wannabes seeking to reinstate their idea of Bushido. For challenges, we're going to have things like the Ashigaru, then a typical Neo-Samurai, and Sagawa Endo, who is the founder of the movement, by the way. By being a member, we do get a power set like the Samurai Protected, as well as some items like the Ashigaru Shock Spear, the Neo-Samurai Fabrication Lab, and the Ronin Contract. To join the Neo-Samurai, all one needs is the will to do so. A recruit starts at the bottom of the hierarchy, usually as an Ashigaru, if they wish to become a Neo-Samurai warrior at some point, or as a volunteer or menial worker in one of the Enclave neighborhoods protected by the Order. Then we have the Oni motorcycle gangs, chaos-sowing biker clans powered by the frightful ogres of Japanese myth. Challenges for these guys include Oni Gangster and the Ogre King Hayayo. We also have Oni Rider and Oni Masked as power sets for membership. Joining the ranks of the Oni motorcycle gangs just takes convincing an Oni who has an extra mask to choose you as its wearer. Once a person wears a mask for a while, the strength and rage take over. The second step is trickier because you'll need to impress a gang enough to let you ride with them, which can take a while. Then we have the Returned Soma Clan, a medical corporation turned devotees of a murderous yokai frog princess. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome in of itself. For challenges, we have things like the Gashadokuro, the Ogama Trooper, the Reanimated Skeleton, the Soma Clan Reanimator, and the Time Flow Firewall. And for members, we do get the Frog Spliced Enforcer and the Ogama Bound Exposure Mythos, as well as some new items. No one in their right mind would want to join the Returned Soma Clan once they learn all that is going on within the organization. Its methods and goals are reprehensible, even among the cutthroat world of corporate war, which is why it maintains such high secrecy. However, the Soma Medical Corporation is still considered one of the best places to learn and practice medicine, to be fitted with high-quality cyberware, or to get great medical insurance. Then we have the Taiyo Solar Tech, Tokyo's most prominent energy core, generating power from the avatar of Japan's sun goddess. For challenges, we're going to have things like the Daytime Darkness, Sundog, and Skywatcher. For a power set, we have the Light Slinger. And membership gets you Skywatcher's and affiliation self-theme, as well as some other items. Individuals interested in joining up with Taiyo Solar Tech must prove that they are both combat ready and technically proficient in electrical engineering and other related fields. And then we have Tokoyo, a powerful hive mind and cyberspace dreamscape born out of a mythical ant colony. For challenges, we're going to have things like the Kagiari, the Ari Code Swarm, the Kokuo, Saito Naoko, who is a recruiter of Tokoyo. For members, we're going to get things like the Hive Mind Recruiter and the Tokoyo Uplink, as well as some items like the AR Assistant, the High-Speed Harnessing Link, Emergency Ari Pack, and a Tokoyo-powered Adaptive Penetration app. Joining the Tokoyo cult is easy enough. They are always trying to recruit and will happily accept anyone who applies. Those who genuinely want to join will find that all of the recruiters' promises are true and they live in a virtual paradise. It's also true that their memories and personality will be integrated into the collective consciousness of a heartless AI until nothing of themselves remain. And then we have the Yakuza clans, warring organized crime families with centuries-old roots, tapping ancient sorcery. For challenges, we're going to have things like the Tsuchigumo, Bamushi-sama, Unugami. And for power sets, we're going to have things like the Irebegumi, Horimondo, Maikubi Kai. The Yakuza recruit new members from gamblers, criminals, and the marginalized. Their hierarchy is based on the Oyabun-Kobun parent-child structure, with strong bonds of loyalty fostered to their elders at every level, from kumicho to new recruits. Then we have viral movements. Out of control memeplexes running wild in the Tokyo Megacity cultural sphere. The movements presented here are but a taste of what Tokyo has to offer. Some have links to sources, drawing on the powers of the forgotten past. Some are fueled by the latest in technology. All share their adherents' burning desire for meaning while trying to survive their time in the bright, violent, indifferent megacity. We have Hanko seals. Hanko are the small seals used by the citizens of the Tokyo Megacity to sign or initial all documents, formal and informal, digital and analog. The practice of using a personal seal has existed in the culture for centuries and has evolved to meet the needs of the modern users. So for Hanko items, we're going to have things like Cloaked Passage, Curse of Pain, Curse of Truth, Open Lock, Protective Seal, Scry, Seal the Area, Shadowed Landscape, and Spoofing Glamour. And these are kind of like spells, in a sense, is the best way that I could put it. Then we have the Kawaii Mask Streamers. The ubiquity of cybernetics and neural interfaces paved the way for the development of various technologies allowing for an outside agent to control a user's body, all existing on a spectrum of questionable legality. Early developers marketed them as forms of prisoner control, but it was clear that nefarious actors were using the tech as a modern form of indentured work. The bulky head-mounted devices, dubbed masks, became a symbol of corporate overreach. We do have a new challenge associated with them, the Kawaii Mask Assassin, which actually sounds really awesome. Then we're going to have the Kumo Racing Club. Extreme vehicle competitions have long been a popular staple of Tokyo's night scene. The increasingly vertical nature of the megacity has led to an evolution of the sport, with Kumo clubs emerging to take the place of underground racing and being just as illegal. We're going to have a new challenge, the Kumo Crawler for this one, and we also have Tezuma Stage Magic. Tokyo's creator market is caught in an endless fight to pierce the cacophony of delights and get the people's attention, and we're going to have a Tezuma Magician challenge for this one. Last but not least, we're going to have the Yakubio Gami Roamers. The twisted landscape of the Maida Wastelands have become a hotbed of yōkai activity. Spiritual energy pours out from the megacity and gets tainted and entangled in the clusters of abandoned towns, toxic dumps, and old tech facilities, where yōkai can manifest and easily find a place to hide. Perhaps the worst of these places is the Kuroi Yogore, where the nanotech disaster began. Here we have a series of new jobs that make use of many of the factions and themes found in this book. The first 5 are smaller in scope, with the 6th one being larger. These are good for plug and play. If you need something on the spot, or if you're looking to run a one-shot, these will do for the most part. Warning, if you are a player, you are hacking into restricted spoiler content, plug out now or you will be assimilated into the Tokoyo Dream Cult. You have been warned. The first job is enter the Anthill. This scenario is a classic Tokoyo job about secret assimilations and fantasy dream worlds. The crew is sent to retrieve Dr. Haraguchi Sumire, a brilliant neural programmer who was recruited into the Tokoyo Dream Cult. Oyama Mental Processing is an up-and-coming tech company in the megacity with a specialization in harnessing. Like many Tokyo tech companies, they contracted with Tokoyo Consultants, a trusted business-to-business provider, to help improve their networking efficiency. While the work went well, Oyama became suspicious afterward because one of their top researchers soon left the company to join Tokoyo. She did so unexpectedly and drastically, severing all connections with friends and family. Dr. Haraguchi was tracked down to Sugi Sleep Clinic, a Tokoyo establishment. She hasn't been seen leaving. Whether this is a case of espionage or kidnapping, Oyama isn't sure. In any case, they need her back alive, but should she resist, her expertise mustn't be allowed to fall into a competitor's hand. As the investigators on the scene, you're in charge of identifying Tokoyo's intentions with Dr. Haraguchi and act accordingly. The first obstacle the crew will encounter is actually getting into the building, but worry not. Security above ground is almost non-existent, with the exception of the henny ants. They are small enough to get into armor undetected to do some real damage when provoked. The crew will actually need to go down below ground and to the cold storage chambers to find Dr. Haraguchi. Fortunately for them, she has only recently been, put into cold storage, so her mind is still her own. The crew will need to connect to the VR dreamscape of Tokoyo, but when they do, they realize Dr. Haraguchi's psyche has spent a decade of subjective time within the dreamscape and barely remembers the world. Biting the bullet is the second job and is a cyberspace train heist. That's right, not only is this a train heist, it's also in cyberspace. Biting the bullet is a VR train heist scenario that can be run from either direction. The crew could either be defending the valuable data on the train from being stolen or carry out the heist themselves, and it's up to the MC to really choose which direction to do. This one is pretty straightforward. You're either the thieves or the defenders. The premise is pretty cool, and there are options to build upon it, especially if the crew are the thieves stealing the data. Like, what exactly did they steal, and how can it come back and bite them in the butt? Next, we have Lost and Flooded. Inspired by the metropolitan area outer underground discharge channel constructed underneath Kasukabe in 2006, officials later greenlit the construction of similar facilities throughout the megacity. One such facility was built under what is now Old Tokyo, but when the district was abandoned by the powers that be, so too were the tunnels underneath. The never-ending march of progress to innovate and increase shareholder profits means that some things just get left behind. Unused stock, obsolete tech, and discarded prototypes eventually end up drifting into some backwater pit. In the eastern Tokyo megacity, that pit is the underground discharge channels underneath the Old Tokyo district. This sprawling facility was once built to divert floodwaters during typhoon seasons. Abandonment and lack of maintenance has turned it into an artificial swamp, stretching across an astonishingly wide area beneath the ground. It's filthy, toxic, and several reports claim that yōkai are gathering there in large numbers, away from human eyes. And this is where your next job is, of course. Amid the filth and sogginess, you are sent to purge the tunnels from a troublesome yōkai infestation. And this is another straightforward job. Go to the place, navigate its challenges, and dispatch of the big bad boss. The crew actually do meet a team of Neo samurai down in Junk Island, led by Kojiro Takao. He is notable because he is looking for anything he can find to blackmail his previous employer, Matsuyama Networks. So he and his team can either be allies or rivals depending on how the crew approach him, and there may be room for betrayal somewhere in there. The fourth job is the Kenko Ruins, which is actually an open scenario in which the crew explores a forbidden ruin, once a corporate stronghold, while maneuvering between servants of Kami of Disease who are self-appointed judges of the waste, and the stern nanobutai officers who are trying to cleanse the land from the residual nanites. This one is kind of like Lost and Flooded. The crew are sent somewhere to explore and find something, and each location they visit has its own challenge before they get to the end. The Kenko Ruins, however, has room for expansion outside of this job once the crew obtains the last nano gel canister, just like with Lost and Flooded. This one seems odd because it seems like the stakes are high, the effort is not. I almost want to see it at the end or midpoint of a campaign with more investment in it aside from the go here, beat the boss, and obtain the MacGuffin that is presented here. And I would truly rework it to be so that the stakes are higher. Then again, this is suitable as a one-shot, and there is room for expansion after the nanogel canister has been obtained. By the way, can I just point out that having giant koi fish as a level 4 challenge is kind of scary in of itself. I mean, the mutant red panda is only level 3. And then we have steampunks. Steampunks is an awkward job with awkward happenings, but it is certainly unique. The Yuna were originally just a street gang of delinquents, their town's equivalent of bosozoku, trading in drugs and committing petty theft. As they grew in ambition and upgraded to smuggling, they took over a dilapidated sento in their turf and put cash into renovating it into a nightclub, creating their own criminal headquarters and hangouts. So in this job, you're going to be employed by the smuggler gang Yuna, a female-led operation that trades in smuggled weapons and stolen pharmaceuticals out of their sento, which has been converted into a stylish nightclub with a pool. They've called the PCs to act both as negotiators and as backup muscle to help them during a meeting with ghost market leaders to determine their future in the larger Tokyo underworld. The contact for this job is Choco, who has asked that the PCs come to the Sento before the meeting, because rumor has it that the bathhouse is haunted by a kami or yōkai, which could complicate the negotiations, especially since it's unclear if the gang is even aware of the possible danger. This one is about appeasing the right people as tensions surely mount. The crew can royally screw things up, and there will be repercussions. My problem with this job is that the crew have way too much sway with people they probably don't know very well. Like, why is Choco asking the crew what they think, or even to negotiate on their behalf? I get that she's caught off guard with Seiryu appearing out of nowhere, and Seiryu is like the face of the ghost market, and their leader, the Yuna's leader, is actually not there, but still. I would highly suggest setting up some sort of a relationship between the Yuna and the crew before running the scenario, just so it does make sense for Choco to be so trusting of them. A bridge too far is a full 4-act job for the crew to embark on. Junjo is an entheogen, a type of psychoactive substance consumed for the purpose of achieving mystical experiences. Only this one is primed as a source for the Ameno Yukihashi, the floating bridge of heaven, which connects the mortal realm with the heavens. Recently, one of the Irebegumi Yakuza syndicate managed to get his hands on a prototype formula called Junjo, produced by Hikage Pharmaceuticals. The client is interested in buying this stolen property. Your contact with the client is Yatagarasu, an enigmatic figure who only approaches people in cyberspace. True to her namesake, a divine crow who guides mortals, the Yatagarasu appears as a pale Japanese woman in an ornate kimono with sleek black feathers in place of hair and piercing golden eyes. She already handled negotiations with the Irebegumi. You only have to pick up the package from the courier. This Yakuza courier is nicknamed Habu, and he'll be waiting for you at a food vendor stall in the famed Ghost Market. Habu is an infamous troublemaker, so the Yatagarasu wants to make sure everything's set before giving you more information about the next step. Once the case is in your hands, you'll contact her to confirm receipt and be told the drop-off point. You will then bring it securely to a meeting spot, and job's done. Oh, and the briefcase? More like an environmentally sealed code-locked case. Better be careful with that thing. Oh, and one other thing, the courier's dead. The rival Maikubi Kai Yakuza clan killed Habu and took the case. The crew will have to get it back by infiltrating a Maikubi Kai dogfighting parlor, which hides a Yakuza drug biolab. By the time the crew arrives, the technicians become exposed to the substance and become enlightened, providing the first hint that something serious is going on. With the case in their hands, the crew is able to contact the Yatagarasu, who reveals where it is to be taken, a Zen Garden Skybridge at the Tokyo Cascade, a famously tall building in one of Tokyo's more populated areas. The Bureau of onmyōji keeps a secret house of Zen on the Skybridge, and the Yatagarasu knows one of the statues there holds the imprisoned source of Ameno no Hoko, which will help to disperse the entheogen over the entire district. The Yatagarasu keeps all of this from the crew, but they can dig a bit and discover further details on the substance and their employers. They are eventually contacted by the Bureau of onmyōji, who wants to get rid of the substance before it does any more harm to the megacity. They too want the case taken to the Tokyo Cascade, because that jeweled spear can be used to seal the Junjo substance and remove it as a threat. Whoever the crew decides to work with, they'll be chased by the other side as they make their way to the Tokyo Cascade, where a final confrontation awaits. That's pretty much the gist of the job in a nutshell. Of course, the crew can go off-road and do their own thing, and incurring the wrath of both sides, although I would highly advise against this. The final confrontation is pretty cool though, with the crew going at it with an Asura-powered tank. Then the crew will need to either choose to spread the Junjo or seal it, all the while fighting against one of the factions, but receiving aid from the other. It's actually a rather satisfying ending to this job. Son of Oak hit it right out of the park with this setting book, and it's actually the first one. You have to realize that Tokyo Otherscape and Metro Otherscape were released at the same time. I'm also a little worried because, well, where do we actually go from here? Tokyo is the perfect setting for the Otherscape series. Aside from that, this book is an amazing first step in the right direction. We have new player options and new things for the MC to play around with. The yōkai database and the key players are extensive. There's just so much to use, and it's all thematic and good. I like City of Mist. I like being a player and running the pre-made scenarios for it. I can already tell I'm gonna love this game even more. It's just more of what I'm looking for setting-wise. I would have liked Metro Otherscape even without this book, but this book elevates it into something I really want to run for my group of players. I'm already planning a campaign that's going to utilize most of the information in this book alone. If you like City of Mist for its gameplay and you like cyberpunk, then get Metro Otherscape. If you want a pre-made megacity with lots of extra features and new things to play around with, then absolutely pick up Tokyo Otherscape. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support the series, and I will see you guys in the next video.